This is Newcap News.
And back at home, the Vermilion Valley Lodge has been providing seniors care in the county for over 50 years. With 124 suites, it's the largest facility operated by the Vermilion District Housing Foundation. But with the Government of Alberta standards regarding room size changing, the lodge is investing millions of dollars to modernize its space. Gina Martin with the details.
It is predicted that within 10 years, between the town and county of Vermilion River, there will be around 4,000 individuals aged 65 or older. And the Vermilion Valley Lodge is the closest long-term care facility for miles.
So the majority of people come from the county of Vermilion River and Vermilion, obviously, and then some from Manville. But we also have people that move here because their families are here.
Like Frances Mulligan, who came from Ottawa to be with her daughter after experiencing a leg injury. But it soon became apparent that she needed to stay in the community longer than she intended.
I had a problem here, as I say, with my attitude, and once that changed, I was very grateful for being here. I still am. I would have been in a lot of trouble if I had not remained.
As the demand for level 2 and 3 care grows, so do the expectations by the provincial government on requirements for these facilities.
The new standard for seniors is 350 square feet. The closest I have right now is 320 square feet, and as some of these little rooms are barely 8 by 10.
Decades ago, there was a time where 2 residents would live in this space, but soon this room, along with many others, will be torn down.
Because we've had to keep residents here, we phased our project. So the very first phase will have 16 rooms, as I mentioned. It will have a dining room and brand new kitchen. Kitchen will be amazing.
Once that phase is completed, they will be able to move residents into those rooms and work on another 32 rooms for a total of 50. At first, this information was given a cold reception from some of the residents.
First thought, I didn't like it because I just arrived and I didn't want to be moved or, nothing. But now I'm looking forward. It is going to really be good for us.
The project is expected to cost around $14.1 million. While no demolitions have happened yet, rooms have already been stripped down and a timeline for construction is expected soon. Gina Martin, Newcap News.
And a new bylaw passed first reading Monday. It would see a user fee implemented on residents' water bills to help fund upgrades to the city's stormwater system. Now, City Council and administration are inviting residents to City Hall to get their feedback on the proposed funding strategy at a Your Voice night session. Adam Macvicker has more from City Hall.
Well, the stormwater utility bylaw has passed first reading in City Council, and now Council wants to hear from residents on this proposed bylaw. We'll get to the Your Voice night in just a moment, but first, a bit of backgrounder on the stormwater utility bylaw. It's an additional fee the city hopes to implement by mid-April. Now, 99% of residential properties will see an additional $13 per month on their water bills, a maximum of $480 based on the size of the property. The fund would go towards funding operations of the city's stormwater system, as well as upgrades, much needed upgrades for the stormwater system that are estimated to cost around $57 million. The stormwater system is very old, and we saw last July plenty of rain showers caused flooding, and that's what they're hoping to prevent with these brand new upgrades. Tonight, they're talking to residents at a Your Voice night at City Hall from 5:30 until 7:30 p.m. City Council and administration will be on hand to answer your questions. Plus, they do have photos of certain parts of the stormwater system that need to be upgraded to give residents a better idea of what their money will be going towards. Again, that's tonight at City Hall from 5:30 until 7:30 p.m. Back to you.
A Lloydminster resident is once again selling homemade crafts to help find a cure for MS. At just 11 years old, Nick Fowler has raised more than $30,000 for the cause. Brian Lentz has more.
After 5 years of selling bracelets, cooling bands, and healing stones, Nick's fundraising theme this year is a little more homey.
I've been kind of running out of ideas, but one day I saw a bird and I just thought up with it, and birdhouse.
Nick recently had a chance to see for himself how his efforts help at the University of Alberta's MS Research Labs.
I said, I know you're trying your best, but please try a little harder. I want to cure by the time I'm an adult.
Nick hopes to raise $10,000 for the Lloydminster Jamin-built MS Walk. Hosted each year by the local chapter, they say Nick's fundraising is critical to reaching their goal.
We love having him with us, and his spirit and his determination never ceases to amaze any of us.
Milnthorpe adds Nick's message to researchers is one shared by many.
We need those researchers to find a cure. I'm in the ground level here, and we get new people in almost monthly, and it breaks my heart.
Nick first decided to fundraise when a family friend was diagnosed with MS and says he already knows how long he will continue.
Probably until there's a cure for MS.
The Jamin-built MS Walk is May 6th. To help him reach his goal, email Nick Fowler at sasktel.net or contact the MS chapter. Brian Lentz, Newcap News.
Now the telethon that's raised the most money per capita in the world is back again this weekend for its 41st year, and it's gearing up to be another big show.
I think it's the hardest Saskatchewan.
Telemiracle is a highly anticipated event every spring in Saskatchewan. Lasting 20 hours straight, it features 58 national and local performers.
Every year, our goal is to raise as much money as possible in those 20 hours. We know that there's been fundraising happening across our province over the last year, and this is where it all comes together, and we just wait in anticipation of that big total at the end.
The money raised will go towards providing equipment and resources for people with specialized needs across Saskatchewan, including both sides of the border city.
We're seeing over 1,000 applications for funding every year. That number is growing year after year, and we know that the need is growing, and so we just really want to see that fundraising effort to grow as well, so that we can continue saying, yes, we want to support you.
The Lloydminster Kinsmen and Kinettes will be doing a check presentation in the first 2 hours of the night. As for how much money they raised,
we can't share that. You got to stay tuned. You got to watch.
you can tune into the Telemiracle locally on CITL starting at 8 p.m. on Saturday night, and you can check out their website telemiracle.com for more information. Well, if you suffered from the winter blues and put working out on the back burner, well, now is the time to get active. For the first time, Lloydminster is taking part in the Saskatchewan in Motion and Blue Cross Go Out and Play initiative. Until March 10th, communities all over Saskatchewan will be recording the amount of minutes they are physically active daily. The community with the most recorded minutes will get a prize of $10,000 to put towards outdoor play.
Lloydminster has identified a project called Pathways to Play. What it is creating play structures or play pods within our linear parks for kids to utilize as they're using the trails and pathways to stop and have a time to discover, play on a small structure.
Walking, playing a sport, or even doing housework can count as physical activity, and each individual can log as much as 120 minutes a day.
With the warm weather, it's great to get outside, use our outdoor rinks, walk around Bud Miller Park, or play tag in your house with your kids. There's stuff you can do with your kids on cold days.
If you're looking for more information or want to join the competition, you can visit their website. And if you're always on the search for different forms of cardio, consider this option. Drum Fit makes you sweat while relieving stress. Josh Ryan has more in this week's Healthy Living.
Not everyone gets a chance to play drums in a marching band or on a rock and roll stage. However, cardio drumming gives anyone an outlet to swing those sticks as both physical activity and entertainment.
You can have a fun environment, but actually get a really, really great workout in.
This fast-paced workout combines dance choreography with movements to work every muscle in the body.
The stability will come from your core, a lot of the jump movements and everything will come from, obviously, the stability in your legs. And as hard as you really want to hit that ball is really that arm workout that we kind of get into there.
For many, the strongest benefit is that the quality of exercise you get is directly related to what you put in, meaning the more practice the participant, the more athletically you can move to the beat.
Kind of work out to have about 500 to 600 calories burned in the 45 minutes, but it really depends on the workout that you put into it.
The direction and frequency of movement guarantees that you'll sweat regardless of fitness level.
Just constant movement and that you don't even realize that you're working the muscles.
And that lack of realization is key as people go into cardio drumming with anticipation instead of resignation.
If you can kind of psych yourself out of having to feel like you are having to work out and you're having fun with it, it's definitely a lot easier to get into.
Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
Getting the grain on the train is critical for prairie producers who continue to up their game when it comes to production. In this week's Agriculture Report, Gerard Lampow finds out that an important cog in the wheel is nearing the end of its life cycle, and there's uncertainty as to who will pick up the tab.
The hopper car fleet, those are aging cars. More and more of them are being taken out of service every year.
AgriVision's 2017 got a timely presentation on transportation and trade issues. This is some 8 years of work has sealed an important trade deal with Europe for Canada's agriculture. Robin Spear is the executive director with the Western Canadian Wheat Growers Association.
It's going to reduce tariffs for our canola growers, reduce tariffs for our livestock producers. So good news to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars a year. It sounds like most of the provisions will take effect this spring.
With prairie producers yielding bigger harvests, covered hopper cars are crucial in getting grain to market, especially as the prairies are landlocked. Spear sees these aging cars costing about $100,000 each. About 11,000 are publicly owned and a similar number is in private hands. But who is going to foot the billions of dollars in infrastructure costs to replace these cars as they come out of service in the next 5 to 10 years?
Certainly the Government of Canada and the provincial governments own a lot of the cars now. There are private cars in different fleets with the grain companies. The railways have some cars as well.
That leaves the options of, is it grain companies that end up owning them? Do the farmers end up owning them? Is it possibility of maybe pension funds or private companies that own them and do the maintenance of them?
Spear sees transportation and trade as key issues, and by replacing the hopper car fleet, it can raise efficiency by 20%.
They're heavily regulated issues. Obviously, the governments are the ones doing trade deals with one another. That affects the bottom line and profitability of farming and economic growth.
Gerard Lampow, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Sports.
The Lloydminster Bobcats entered last night's game against Whitecourt 1 point back of Drayton Valley for the last playoff spot. A win was critical, but something that's been hard to come by this season. Lance Phillips with more.
Wednesday's game started out like many have this season. After one period, the Cats held a 2-0 lead on Whitecourt, a team it hasn't beat all season. But like many of those games that started well, it finished poorly, with Lloydminster on the wrong side of a 7-4 score.
This one's a tough one to swallow. We came out good, up 2-0, and they're a good hockey team. They don't quit. They got a lot of pride over there, and it showed again tonight.
The Wolverines scored twice in the first 5 minutes of the second and third periods, again bringing to light the same issues that have plagued the Bobcats all season.
We make too many mistakes in our D zone, and when you make mistakes against a team like that, they're going to put the puck in the net.
I think one of the things we did real well is we used our speed, and especially the speed of attack in terms of moving the puck. I saw a lot of that in the third and then early second for about the first 5 minutes. I thought we had some real good speed on the forecheck, and our change of direction off the cycle was very good. They have a tough time keeping up with us.
A Drayton Valley overtime victory in Sherwood Park means a year after being RBC Cup finalists, the Bobcats will be the only AJHL North Division team to miss the postseason. With one game remaining, the focus will slowly turn to off-season needs.
There's a lot of good hockey players in that locker room. There is. We got a good core of hockey players in there that we can build around. Now it's our job to go out there and find the missing pieces. Obviously, we got to get bigger and stronger. We find those missing pieces, we'll be fine.
With 18 rookies on the team's roster, every player is eligible to return next season. Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
Well, last night we brought you the story of fifth-year Rustler Laura Popplestone, but she wasn't the only senior to be recognized recently. Arnette Mckay, another fifth-year player, was also recognized, and it was a special night given the audience on hand to witness it. The whole Mckay family was in attendance, and all members were thankful for the opportunity to be at the Lakeland Gym to witness Arnette's last game as a Rustler.
Oh, it means everything. I know my mom's always watching at home, but it's nothing like watching it live. So she gets to eat popcorn for real here and watch her son play, I guess.
What did that mean to both of you?
Absolutely best. Followed his career all along, and now it's seeing success at the end, and it's fabulous to see him.
Of course, Arnette's talents will be missed by more than just his family.
Like I said in the ceremony this evening, we've only had one 5-year player in the college history, and so to be able to have 2 this year, real tough to replace just what they bring as far as leadership and what they've been through and understand what it takes to be a student athlete.
And there's one aspect to Arnette's game that his family won't soon forget.
Always him hitting.
Yeah.
Every single time. I lose my voice from it every single time.
Yeah, the hits. Down the line, on the side, yeah, those hard hits, fabulous. Yeah.
It's definitely the hits. There's a particular sound that you want to hear, kadunk. And if you get that, it's not that out, it's that down, kadunk, and you look for that.
Now Arnette's next move is to Edmonton, where he'll work as a Red Seal carpenter.